Hello everyone, many blessings. I'm going to share with you today an out-of-body experience that I had last night that my dear sister Julie urged me to share it with all of you. A lot of you know that have been following me for a long time. I used to talk about my out-of-body experiences and astral travel and remote viewing and stuff I did. I've been doing it for a long time. I've been doing it since a child. I've had the ability since a child, but I never really shared this stuff publicly very much. Because when I started sharing, I would just get knocked down all the time, or it was just too much. People weren't ready yet, and now everybody is ready. There's a lot of people sharing this stuff, so this is very emotional for me. But I'm going to share it, and I'm going to hold myself together as much as I can. So I want to tell you how the day started because it all goes together, the synchronicity. A dear sweet sister of mine had picked me up yesterday to take me to lunch for a belated birthday. And she is an amazing shaman that studied all through South America, hitchhiked through South America with by herself and studied with the elders, and we went out to lunch, and at lunch we were talking about I honestly don't remember exactly what we were talking about, but something came up in the conversation where I brought up the photos from Egypt where while I was in the Sekhmet's room with the statue, how my face was warping and changing. And as I've said before, I'm a high frequency crystalline shifter, and we are the angelic ones, we are the good ones. There are shifters that are the bad ones that you don't want to be around. Those are not good. But we are one of the good ones, and one of the things that happens is I tend to change and transform in front of people or in the photos or videos to show you the truth of who we really are. And part of my work is to activate these things in you to be able to do these things as well. So we were talking about, she was looking at one of the photos, and I'm going to put the photo up here so that you can see it. I used to have it on my old Instagram that they took down, which I'm trying to start a new one. So for those of you that can't figure out what happened to my Instagram and Facebook I'm not going to bother doing again. I don't care. It's 12, 13 years of light work, but you know what? I'm not playing their games. So it's Keleena _ Cosmic Whisperer. So you can find that new one there. But in the photo, on the side of my face, I'm in one of the rooms in one of the temples, and the light is hitting my face, and there's this embedded I don't even know what you call it. It looks like a part of my face is missing. And there's this big 5-pointed star on it, which is what's on the ceiling in a lot of the temples of Hathor, which actually is connected to Hathor as, with the cosmos and the cosmic mother. And so if you've been in Egypt, you know what I'm talking about. There's tons of stars on the ceiling with Hathor's face. And as you know, I do Hathorian tones. I am very big connection to Dendera and Hathor and Isis, and in very good frequencies and very good things, and not bad stuff. There's some wackies out there that always think that just because you've been Egyptian or whatever that you're bad. Yeah, I gotta let them be where they are. Anyways, in that photo, there's this big 5-pointed star, and then going straight up, there is a candle. She noticed this candle with the flame on top, and she's like, Keleena, why do you always get these things, these symbols in your photos for you? And she's looking at it, and she said, I'm going to tell you what she channeled what it was. And she said her inner vision never lies. She's a shaman who has studied and is very connected. And she said what she could see was the core flame of truth in my voice, and it was coming down and it went to my throat chakra. So I am big on activating humanity with the throat chakra. So it was from these pictures, and we were also looking at the pictures of when I was in Sekhmet's room and I was transforming and I looked like a cat and all this stuff happened. We were looking at all those photos. And we were talking about, you know, the cat people and everything that had to do with the sacred divine feminine as cosmic mothers. And that was part of our conversation. So, you know, that was it. And we went home, and I went to bed later that night. I was exhausted because I've been getting up very, very early. Again today, up at 4:30 in the morning. I'm running on like 5 hours sleep every day. If I'm lucky. And so I went to bed and I laid down, and I was having pain in my knee, and I was just like so like tired of it. I'm just like, I'm so tired of this. But I was so exhausted, I was like delirious. And you all know, a lot of you know that I've had a concussion that I'm getting over. It's still healing. And it was nothing I did. It was a freak accident here in the rental, or something fell. But anyways, so I've been like having headaches and all kinds of things. On my same friend, she said that was a shamanic initiation. And it's funny she said that because I actually pulled cards that morning after it happened. It actually happened on the 1111 portal. And I pulled a card. The first card I pulled that morning was initiation card. And I'm like, okay, this is another initiation. So I went to bed last night and I'm just delirious and exhausted. And these beings came in the room, and normally I can see them, but I was so exhausted and like delirious that I couldn't even focus. I was foggy. And I was like, who's here? Is it the Arcturians? I'm like, who's here? And they're like, no. And I'm like, is it Pleiades? And they're like, no. And I just started going through it. I'm like, well, is it Syrian? They're like, no, but you're getting close. And I was just going through the ones that I always work with. But, you know, but I didn't even say the ones that I'm like the most of. I'm very Andromedan, but I'm also, I have a lot of incarnations on Lyra. I have the most incarnations on Lyra. I'm very Lyran. And I'm like, laying there, and I'm like, who can it be? So finally I'm like, I saw a cat in my third. I'm like, oh, it's Lyra. And then I saw Sekhmet in my third eye. And I'm like, oh. And then I heard they started laughing, and they said, Sekhmet, Sister Sekhmet sent us. And I was like, okay. And they said, you know, we're here to help you to remove this pain and some of the things that are going on with it. And I was very grateful. And I was like, wow. I'm like, Sekhmet. I'm like, just had that conversation with her. And it was crazy because it's... the connection last night, it just wasn't a coincidence that we're having that conversation and activating and bringing her into our field. And so she came in right next to my bed, and she's like looking down at me. And of course she's huge. Okay. When they come in, they're like huge. And I was looking at her, she was looking at me, and she was just smiling. And she said, hold on, I just need to recall. And she said, hello, sister. I've sent them to help you, but I want you to come with me. And she put out her hand. And so I took her hand. And the next thing you know, I'm like blasting through the cosmos. And we're going so fast through the stars that the stars all looked like shooting stars. That's how fast we were going. It was the craziest thing. I mean, I do all kinds of traveling already. And have out-of-body experience, but it was so... She took me that way for a reason, because of the photo and the remembrance of the temples that I was in, where the stars are all over the ceiling, and her face, and Heather's face is there. And, you know, I was just like, for me, it was just like amazing you know, and it was the feeling of freedom. When you have out-of-body experiences, it is so freeing from this earth. I cannot even tell you. So we end up all of a sudden on the ship in a room, and there's others around that are like attending to things and attending to her, and then like I don't know what they're doing attending to me, and we're having a conversation, and I could see myself. I would look down and see my body down in the bed on the planet, and the Lyrans that are down there working on me, and then I would look at her and she's talking, and it's clear as day. It's so flipping real. Every time I have had these experiences, it's so real, and it's so different than Earth, is what I have to say. I don't even know how to explain it in the sense that you can understand. I'm going to do my best to give you all the details, because you have that sense of home when you have your out-of-body experiences, and you don't want to come back. And every time I have those, I don't want to come back here. So, I'm in this room with her, and we're talking, and I have to be honest, I can't remember the conversation. It was just about the earth stuff and the gratitude towards, one of the things she said is that she was so grateful that I chose to come back and do the sacred cosmic mother work on the earth. And then all of a sudden she's talking, and then all of a sudden you can hear this, like the ship was like almost like shaking, and you can hear this like vroom, 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 and there's a corridor, and you can hear that coming down the corridor, and everybody had stopped, and they were like, you know, they were just stopped. They weren't scared. It was just that it was so profound and so loud. And I'm like looking at Sekhmet, looking at the others, and then Sekhmet goes, "He's coming." And they're all like, "Yeah, he's coming, he's coming." And they were hurrying with whatever they were doing. And I looked at her and I said, "Who's coming?" And she goes, "You'll find out in a minute." And he got closer and closer, and all of a sudden this door just comes open, this big door. They're massive doors on the ship. Like slides open. I want to say flies open, but it's not like that. It's like a sliding one in that room. And these two Lyrans come in first and move to the side, and then this massive Lyran comes in, and that literally had to kind of duck a little bit to get in the room, and his shoulders were so big and wide, and I'm looking at this big, beautiful Lyran man standing there, and his hair, I drew a picture of him, his hair coming down, and he said, "Keleena!" And I was like, he goes, "You're here, you're back." And he was like, and he could feel my presence on the ship. That's how he knew I was there. And that's how he knew how to find me, through my presence and my frequency. And so he comes in, he looks at me, and Sekhmet turns and looks at me, and she smiles, she goes, "I'll leave you with your husband now." And she walks out. And I've always known that I have a Lyran husband, because he would come in sometimes, in and out, and some of you may remember my experience in 2017. It was on those Facebook videos that are gone now, where in the middle of the night I was awakened, and I knew it was a Lyran man that came in right across from me and was just hovering and just connected. We connected our chakras, and we just both lit up and just expanded. And for probably a good couple hours, the energy was just going through me like crazy, until he left. And that was in 2017. And I never forgot that. I will never forget that because it was so illuminating. It was a frequency exchange. We did that to initiate a higher level of frequency for the planet. So anyways, back to this last night. I was looking at him in disbelief because this is the first time he'll ever let me see his face. And I know some of you know that I've had someone's been telling me since I was like 16, 17 that they were coming soon, that they would let me see them. I always know I had a connection to, the cosmos, the galactics. So that's, 50, what is it? I was 17. It's 40 something years ago. 40 years ago, yeah. So anyways, he said, let's go to the suite. And so these two guards start walking out the door in front of us. Excuse me. I said, bring tissue. I warned the Cosmic Academy members, I'm like, bring tissue. And we're walking down this corridor and we turn in an angle and it's like it's circular in the center and it's like different levels. And there's this big screen which I didn't know that was a big screen in one part of the ship where you can see some things happening on Earth. And as we're walking, and there's other Lyrans coming towards us. And there was some other beings on the ship that weren't Lyran, and I asked who they were. He said those are just other beings that we're in collaboration with for the work for Earth, to help Earth, and some of them were Syrian, he said. And as I'm walking with him, and he's got these massive shoulders, and he's wearing this cape. There's two capes. He has one cape under him. It's not tight, it's like a cape underneath him, but then he has this big one, this other one on top of it, where the shoulders come out so wide, and as he's walking, it's like fluid flowing. His capes are flowing, like, and just the energy and the flow was just so amazing, and it was like fluid. And we're walking, and as we're walking down these corridors, these other Lyrans and beings were bowing in such a way. The Syrians were doing a bow forward like this, but the Lyrans went down on one knee and their other leg was straight. And it kind of reminded me of, because my brother had horses, so it kind of reminded me of when a horse goes down on one knee and then the other one goes straight. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but that's what the Lyrans were doing. And I was like, thinking that they're bowing to him. I'm like, oh, they're bowing to you. And he goes, no. And I said, well, why are they bowing? And he said, well, first of all, you're royalty, Keleena. He goes, but that's not why they're bowing. He goes, we don't bow for royalty. And I was just listening to him, and he goes, they're bowing in gratitude. And I was like, what? And he said, they're bowing in gratitude for the work that you and the others are doing on the planet. And I felt so much like gratitude and love in my heart from them. And this isn't just for me, this is for all of you. So he said it's the bow of gratitude because you were chosen, or you chose to go back. And because when you chose to go back, it wasn't partial. It has something to do with the soul. I'm sorry, give me a minute. He said When you chose to go back, you're not risking your life, you're risking your soul. And so I was like, I have felt this for all of us that do grid work and are grid keepers, light workers, and the starseeds on this planet that are doing all this work for humanity, for the ones that are asleep and have no clue what's going on. And every single one of them bowed in gratitude, every single one of them. So take that into your heart for yourself and know that you're not here for nothing. Know that they are watching and that they are seeing, because they had this big screen that was watching Earth. They are part of the watchers that are helping. And I've talked about this before. There's two different kinds of watchers. They're the ones that are not nice, and then there's the watchers that are helping, and the watchers such of us on the planet that are Earth Guardian watchers. And so anyways, I'm just going to keep going. We went to this room that apparently is our room. And we went in there, and the lighting in there was the same, excuse me, it was the same blue that comes out of my third eye. That there's a big story on that from 2008 when that first happened for me, or when I first saw it. Those are the last stories I just don't share because people think you're crazy. So anyways, it matched that color. It was blue lighting and everything, and there was white, and then there was gold. And I looked at him and I said, "Where's the pink? Where's the pink?" And he started laughing. He said, "You always wear the pink. We don't need the pink." He goes, "But there's other rooms that have pinks," and he goes, "Your colors, pinks and purples and rose colors," is what he said. And I just started laughing. I said, "Okay." And he was just looking at me, and the love that I was feeling from his heart, and he was feeling mine back, because we were just like, we did the connection thing with the chakras, but it was so many more chakras than you think you have on Earth. And I know I've talked in my master classes about our chakras, that we have so many more than you think. And when we did this merge with the chakras again, it was just elevated at such a level, and it was bringing again the new frequency. He asked me and was explaining how when we do this, we're gonna hold that frequency. I'm gonna hold that frequency and bring it back to the planet. And I asked him why I hadn't seen him since 2017. I'm like, "Where have you been?" And he said, "Well, the reason that Sekhmet sent this team to help is because there's been some negative persons, jealous persons, beings, whatever, that have done all kinds of blocks to not allow us to connect." And so that's why she sent it, because she was like, "It's time to open this back up." And even though I do clearings and all kinds of removals and attachments, and I even teach that stuff, I have amazing classes where I teach this, these things were like from off planet. And so that's why Sekhmet and her team had to come in. And when it was open, it was like, it's open now. And he's like literally here with me right now, which is the way it used to be all the time. So his presence is here, his essence is here. I can feel his frequency and his vibration. And this is the very interesting part. You know how in my photos I tend to like disappear and start becoming see-through? And I've posted them. I will start posting them again on the new Instagram. But there's ones of me in Egypt where I'm see-through. There's the new video where I'm all light. There's the I've just put out a video of my hand in the sun where you can see my light body and how the light comes shooting up my fingertips and stuff like that, the golden light. It's on my Instagram. We were just laying there because I had to rest after this activation merge thing that we did so that I can bring this frequency back. And he kept saying, Keleena, look at me, look at me, look at me, because I was looking down at my body on the planet. I can see my body down in the bed on the planet through this like tube. And he would say, don't look there, look at me, just look at me. And he was like, just keep looking at me in the eyes. Because every time I would look that way, I would start to become see-through. And he said, be present with me, Keleena, be present with me. He's like, I don't want you to go yet. And I didn't want to go. I told him, I said, I want to go back. And he said, you have to. As you take on this mission. And I got it doesn't feel the same here that it does when you're there. If any of you that have out-of-body experiences, you know the difference. I didn't want to go back, and he didn't want me to go yet. He's like, I don't want you to go yet because I haven't been on the ship in so long. He said, I usually don't come to the ship. There's usually, for those of us that meet with the Lyrans, we usually meet in another place, in a different area that's like a closer. It's the first time I've been to a ship in a long time as far as Earth time. And I don't have any recall of ever being on that ship. I've been on the other galactic ship that is a completely different out-of-body experience that some of you know about. I have not shared it on YouTube. But I would look down over again and he'd be like, no, look at me in the eyes, look at me in the eyes. And it was all about being present with him. And the more I was present with him, the more solid I was. But he knew that I was going to have to go back, and I knew I was going to have to go back. And then all of a sudden, my body started getting tired, and I could feel myself starting to fade, and I could see myself starting to fade, and I was like, no, I don't want to go. And I faded out, and I could see myself shooting back through the cosmos, and I looked up. And I can hear this massive lion roar. If you've ever heard a lion roar, multiply it 100 times. You could hear that. And it like shook the whole ship. And the last thing I saw when I was looking up is I saw Sekhmet. And I saw her turn to everybody and go, she left. And that was the last thing that I heard. And I ended up back in my bed. It was maybe 2 in the morning or something. And early hours of the morning. And I just cried. I was like, I don't want to be here. It's not the same. Excuse me. And then I got just a couple hours sleep because there's a vineyard across the street from here in a restaurant that has their trash pickup at 4:30 in the morning. So the big thing woke me up at 4:30 in the morning. And I've been up ever since. And ever since, he's here in my third eye. I see him in my third eye and his energy's all around me. And then he gave me a song. And let's see if I can give you the name of the song. I just can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. Sorry, it's been such an emotional day, because I can feel him, and he said, I'm not ever going to be separate from you anymore, Keleena. He's got the connection back, and he said that there's been something done so that they can't break the shield. Let me see what the name of the song is, because I want you to understand the song. Oh my gosh, my head, my concussion. Wrong one. The song is, it's another Frankie Valli song. You already know I've already had one song from this guy, this person that I'm like, it's old music that's before my time that I don't know. The song, hold on, I'm trying to get it. And then there's a message from the Lyrans here that I'm going to read. It's called Can't Take My Eyes Off of You by Frankie Valli. And when you understand what he was doing, where he's like, don't take your eyes off of me, Keleena, stay present, so that I can stay there. So it has much more meaning than the 3D Earth meaning of it. So I will try to post that song also with the video, or I'll put it, just look it up. But here's the message that they, this morning with him, we wrote together. And I am a Lyran ambassador. So this is the message. I'm just going to read it from my phone here because I have it typed here. And so pay attention, everyone. We are now in a time of transition that is allowing humanity to undergo various integrations within the mind, the body, and the soul. As a collective species on the planet Earth and elsewhere, we, the Lyrans, are anticipating great change within the human realignment or real ironment, allowing the true perception of reality to take place. It is in this space that all are becoming aware of their compassionate hearts and truth as one enters the new era of disassociating with the illusional third dimensional reality. To be on Earth in human form is a gift and an undertaking that is highly felt in gratitude from many of us off planet. We understand the complexity of being in your shoes right now, and we extend our grateful thank you to you. Abakana akamedia aki. With the changes occurring, we are in gratitude to those that are listening closely to their heart's call. It is here that love and life truly transition into higher realities, frequency and vibration holding the space for all of humanity. Pata no te amor. We ask you to feel yourselves in true surrender of the heart, allowing the diamond codes of light to initiate the next level of change. Makuta mahkana aki. We rest in love. So, one other thing that is, oh, I feel him right now. He's like lifting me. One other thing that is very interesting is when I had the concussion thing happen, you can kind of see my head. It's getting small. It was this big. It's getting smaller. It happened 1 week before my solar return started. And my solar return started on the new moon. And for the year, I am a Leo rising. You can't make that up. You can't make it up. So I wanted to share that with all of you. And I have not been on a bad experience that's been emotional like this before. Normally it's just like you're out, you're there, you're doing work, and you're connecting with some things that you need to do and bring back, and it's all easy and simple, and sometimes it's funny, and like my experience on the other ship was hilarious. But with the Galactic Center, I'll share that another time. But I have not had one like this, and I just wanted to share it with you. And I'm going to say this right now. This has nothing to do with a twin flame or anything like that. This person is my Lyran husband, on Lyra, my partner. And again, I've known about him for a long time. But I walked around this morning, and I wanted to explain this to you too, feeling like I know this is going to sound strange, but like life is dead here. Like, because I feel so much more alive there. But I know that we all have to be strong and be in our courage and our strength this year and the next coming years to help with this shift. If we are in this pivotal moment now. And we all have to be present. And this year is about present. Last year is about coming into balance. And this year is harmony and presence. And we have to hold it. All of you that are awake, you need to hold your vibration. You need to hold your frequency. And that's all I'm going to say. So I'm very tired, exhausted. I've been up since 4:30, and I do have a masterclass tomorrow for women to teach. So I'm going to go, and I'm sending you all love and blessings. And I hope that you have an amazing rest of January. I love you. Many blessings. Bye, everyone.